Hello, hello. It's Lindsay Landry, energy alchemist and heart shaman for healers and soul-led entrepreneurs who are desiring deeper intimacy, more prosperity, deeper success with much more ease, flow, joy, pleasure. So welcome to day 2 of I Am Magic. I have no idea what's going to come forward today. I have been feeling in and I took some notes. I have a little bit of direction and there's a lot of mystery. So what we're turning towards today is you are the one you are longing for. No matter what's happening in your business, in your relationship, if you are longing to bring in more money, if you are longing to attract more clients, if you're longing for a deeper connection, deeper intimacy with your partner, it all turns back to you. And that's what we are exploring today. You know, it can feel a little frustrating sometimes, even scary to remember that we hold the key. We hold the key to the things that we truly desire. And it's up to us as an individual. And especially when we're in it and, we're in the depths of a situation, or we're in the depths of a pattern or an unraveling or an becoming, a birth, even when we're birthing something, it can feel really messy and it can feel confusing and it's hard to actually see what's happening because often there's a death and a expansion into life, an opening to receive, right? An opening to allow the energetic to flow through you and birth through you. It's all happening at once. And so when we're going at it by ourselves, it can feel really confusing, and our ego wants to grip, our ego wants to hold on, our ego wants to, solidify into the story, into the reasons why it seems like it's everyone else or it's everything else or things aren't going our way, right? And we need to work harder, we need to do more. And that's not really the case. I'm recording a podcast series on sacred union where I'm going to be sharing more of my personal story the past few years. And some of these teachings that are really moving through me. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, so what I want to share today, what I want to talk about is you are the one. You are the one. And when we orient back to ourself as being the creator, and like we talked about yesterday, God is within you. And whatever it is you desire. So if you're desiring more money, right? You want to be able to not only survive and pay your bills, but you want to be able to live. And you want to be able to have things that you enjoy, have things that nourish you, have things that matter to you. And you want to be able to spend time with your person, your partner, and look them in the eye and be able to be fully present and enjoy the moment with them and with you, right? You don't want to just be going through the motions and feel okay, we're having dinner together and okay, we're doing the thing together, but we're not even really with each other. It's you want to feel like you are there. You're in it together, right? And it can really be tempting and easy to feel okay, well, they're not present. they're, doing this thing, they're in avoidance. And yes, and it also goes back to you. Okay. And so this is about you learning how to sit in the driver's seat of being the creator and owning your power as the creator. And so for that to happen, it goes back to a couple main things. Your feelings and the energy that you are experiencing. When we tune into our unique individual experience, that is where our power lies. And as women specifically, many of us have learned to give away our power because we don't put our experience as a priority. We put everyone else first. We put our kids first. We put, for me, even the animals, like, there was a time over the past few years, it's like, I'm making sure the animals are okay. I'm doing the things that I need to do for my family. And then it's like, at the end of the day, I was depleted and exhausted, and if you asked me, like, I felt invisible. I felt like my experience wasn't important. And, I'm cleaning that up right now. I'm like doing so much deep healing work right now for myself. And, yeah, so you may notice this, it's like we're growing our business and it feels really good, but who are you outside of your business? Who are you outside of your relationship? At the end of the day, when it's just you and your relationship to you and you. And, do you feel full? And this is something too that I really went through the past few years because after the hurricane, I lost my home. And then it was like I ended up in the hospital because I was hemorrhaging and I had to get IVs. So my physical health was doing a thing. And then Ken got into his accident. I moved to Alabama. All of these things like kind of snowballed and happened. And the things that I was anchored into before, my health routine, my community, because I fell in love with living at the lake and nature was like such a thing for me. My business, my work, like that was such a source for me of gratification, of confidence, of feeling good about myself. And not having those things, then I'm like, okay, where do I fuel? Like, how do I fuel myself? And what it really brought me back to was like really having to look at my own self-image of myself, how I feel about myself and how I feel in relationship to the world. And then also the other place is how I feel about my relationship with God. Right? And like what I'm co-creating in life or what I'm experiencing in life in relationship to my connection to God, to source, my higher power. And I think this is where so many of us get like derailed, right? Because we think that we are the creator, and yes, we are. And, there is something bigger than us creating through us. And so if you're not anchored into that and you just have these goals and you have this vision, then you're going to fall into this trap. Hi, Heather. Thanks for being here and for saying hi. You're going to fall into this trap where you're doing it from your own will, from your own energy, and then that depletes you. And so when you realize, okay, this is about me being the creator, but it's not like it's happening through me, right? It's not my willpower. It's actually me surrendering to something bigger that is wanting to move through me and create through me. And there's a lot of fears. There's a lot of fears that come up with that. And then there's a lot of needing to actually open to love. And can we allow ourselves to be, can we allow ourselves to be loved that way, and then also to receive love that way? And we're going to be talking about this more another day, either tomorrow or Friday. But yeah, and this is, when we're saying yes to putting our gifts into the world, or when we're saying yes to being in a relationship, it's so much more than just the physicality of having that thing. It begins to bring up all of these places in us where we have to find that deeper alignment, and we have to open ourselves. And that takes radical courage, radical willingness, right? Radical surrender, which we'll talk about as well, probably tomorrow. So, this, when you begin to realize this, when you begin to take self-responsibility, this is where the real work begins, And what I want to say here is everything that has happened into this point, you needed to get to this point. So stop beating yourself up. Stop judging. And this is so much easier said than done, because I've just gotten out of this cycle where I was like, oh my God, like really reflecting. I've shared some of this on my lives. Like, I've been in this deep grief process of, realizing like, oh my God, since losing my home the past 4 years, just kind of seeing my journey, seeing my process, seeing what I went through, seeing how I showed up where I maybe wasn't as proud of myself as, I wasn't proud of myself, and, being honest about that. I was holding shame. I was holding guilt. I was holding self-judgment, all of these things. Like, I was leading from my ego of wanting it to look a certain way and wanting it to be a different way. And there was this inner fight that was happening. I'm going to share more about that in the podcast series that I'm creating. But yeah, so it was painful. It was so painful. And when we realize things haven't been going the way that we want, it's been really painful, and, you're ready to do it differently. We can look at the past, we can acknowledge it, and we can, bless it. We can thank it for getting us here to this point. We needed those parts of ourselves, right? To get here to this moment. And so it's not about, none of it was wrong. None of it was wrong. It was exactly how it needed to be to get you here, to this moment, to this point. And once you realize that, once you're able to surrender to that, and surrender to the idea that there is something bigger than you, right? Wanting to move and create through you as an individual. It's not about you needing to do it by yourself. It's about opening to God, opening to source, and saying, oh my God, I cannot do this by myself. I need you. Help me, show me, support me. I'm willing, right? And when we do that, and when we begin to say like, okay, help me see through the lens of love. Help me see through the lens of love. Help me to alchemize this. Show me how. I have no idea how to do this. Show me, teach me, work through me. When we begin to orient to this new place, this new way, things begin to shift and open and happen through you. Which can be scary, it can be scary at first. And also it becomes so beautiful, so beautiful. This is the flow of prosperity and abundance. Yeah, and it's not, a lot of times we say like release the past. And what I would like to say, or what I've been shown through my journey, is like receive it. Can you really receive it? Because when you receive it, then it becomes, you can turn it into gold, right? If we're trying to release it, it's like, well, something is in me that shouldn't be here. And that's not true. Because even our family lineage, it got us here. It got us here. Can you find gratitude for that? It got you to this moment, to this point. It has made you who you are today. When we come to that, this place of realization, then we can actually like open to moving forward. And even if like we're not at a place where we like, again, are proud of where we are today, that's where you ask God, like, okay, I need your help. I need your help. I want to move forward. Help me, show me, use my story, use my process. And when you invite the Holy Spirit to come to you, to move through you, use my business, invite the Holy Spirit into your business, invite the Holy Spirit into your relationship, and watch it change, watch it grow, watch it shift. Okay? This is where the real work can begin. So, what I want to do now is just bring you through a little energy process. So we're going to just play with some prosperity energy, some gold energy. So I invite you to get comfortable wherever you are. You might put one hand on your heart, maybe one on your belly or your womb. And just take a few deep breaths. In through your nose. And then just let yourself sigh it out through your mouth. And we'll do 2 more. In through your nose, really filling up your heart, filling up your belly. And then let it go. And then the last one. So breathing in deeply, all the way to your womb space. And then go ahead and release. Okay, so I want to just invite you to imagine having a sponge, a golden sponge, and let's just wipe off the area above your crown. This is where we connect to source, and you can physically do it with your hand as well if that feels good, if you're a sensory person. But we're just going to energetically clear the space above your crown. And you might also just begin to notice, like, how does your energy feel as you begin to turn towards yourself? Do you feel energetically charged? Do you feel a little tired? Do you feel maybe wide open? For me, when I was in a lot of stress and burnout, I felt like my energy was so blown open. So just noticing without judging it, just letting it be perfect how it is. And what I want to do is just invite this golden thread. You can imagine it coming down from the sky, the divine. And allow it to begin to meet your crown. And you can notice as this thread begins to connect with you, how do you feel? Do you feel a little nervous? Do you feel resistant in any way? Or do you feel completely open and available? And what I want to invite here is just allow this intelligence to meet you however it wants to meet you. Trusting the divine, it knows exactly what you need. It knows you better than you know yourself. So can you trust it? And if you have any fear or uncertainty coming forward, just notice like if there's old beliefs attached to that. So recently I was in a group where somebody mentioned like, my God. We can have so much religious programming where it's like we then fear God energy, or we fear this connection with our higher self or spirit. And someone said, my higher power would never hurt me. I completely trust that my source loves me so deeply, so tenderly, knows exactly what I need in any given moment, and wants to love me and support me. So if you notice a lot of fear, can you just allow the programming, the conditioning, see it as that? Can you just allow it to be peeled back and feel for the truth? And you can also invite this energy to show you the truth. Like, what would that even feel like to be loved that way? So compassionately, so tenderly. Some of us don't know. I'm willing. Yeah. Yeah. So just notice how that feels in your body. For me, it's like I notice my body beginning to relax, like sinking lower. I can feel more of my sits bones, my tailbone. It feels like I'm just like dropping deeper into my body. So notice what it feels like for you. And then what we'll invite in is this golden nectar that is full of divine nourishment, inviting it to begin to flow through this thread. Inviting it to find you. And you might notice if it's flowing quickly or if it's slowly. And you can ask it to slow down. You can ask it to speed up. And as it arrives to you and begins to flow through you, notice how you feel. Notice the qualities. You might even see, like, can you taste it? Let yourself have a sensory experience. If you dipped your finger into it, what is the consistency? What is the quality of it? So not just with our minds, but we're inviting our senses, our body, This is where embodiment begins, when we can move not just in the imagination, but in the feeling, in the senses. Even in the emotions. So if feelings arise in you, allow them. And for the purpose of this time frame we're in, I'm going to go ahead and invite the energy to speed up a bit and allow it to just fill you up. So you might start with your head, it might go to your heart, your belly, your womb, your legs, your root. You might even, if it feels good, you might invite it to swirl around you. So your external body as well, as it fills up the inside, you might begin to feel it overflow, and then just to swirl around you, clearing out anything that's been in your space that's not yours or is no longer serving you, purifying it, bringing it back into alignment with your divine nature, the truth of who you are. Yeah, and just notice how that feels to have this divine support that you can tap into at any moment. You might even notice or invite it to like seep into your cells, into your blood. So especially if you've been tired or you've had low energy, just receiving it so deeply. Drinking it in like you'd be drinking it through a straw. Breathing it in. Beautiful. So you can stay here as long as you would like. And I'd love to hear from you. If you want to let me know below how this experience was for you. Also how the information at the beginning landed for you. If it brought anything forward, what it moved in you. Let me know. And I'll see you tomorrow for day 3. We're going to be talking about surrender. I'm sending you